All
Hold
right,
on,
little
y'all,
bro.
real quick. So, Vegan Gains, how's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Gains.
Yeah, pretty good, man. How's it going? What made you pop into the stream today, brother? What's going on with you?
Yeah, so I've heard of your channel. I think I've seen a few of your videos. I'm an atheist. And probably the biggest problem for me rejecting a belief in God would be the problem of evil. I'm sure you're all familiar with the problem of evil, but it basically postulates that if God is all-powerful and all-good, evil could not exist. And since evil does in fact exist, therefore there could not be a God. The only way around this that I've seen is to either reject the idea that God is all good, or reject the idea that God is all powerful, or both. So I would just like to hear your best arguments against that idea.
Well, since we
Did you
only
say
got
you was atheist?
one second. Since we only got one Muslim here, Sadie, he's family, so we know what he gonna say. What do you guys want to address this? You guys want to deal with Gains, or what y'all want to do?
Well, the warden now hasn't spoken yet, so he could probably speak and then I'll go.
No, I'm asking the panel because we deal with Muslims. So do you guys want to do you guys want to address
this
Gains,
seems
or
to be like a Muslim live, isn't it? So
it's up to you. I could make an atheist live and then have him come back, or we can deal with it now. It's up to you.
just make an atheist live and then he can come back. Because this is a Muslim
Gains,
live, bro.
okay, yeah, right. So
I
Gains,
really think it's just simple to answer. It's just a simple answer to it.
well, how about this? Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it because I don't want him to feel like So let's deal with it for about 20 minutes. All right.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Sadie,
I'll
you got
put a
20
timer
minutes?
on for 20 minutes right now.
Yeah, man, I'm chilling, bro. Yeah.
I'll stay out of this because I've been hogging the limelight for some time. So I'll put a 20
Realistically,
minutes
that's all
timer.
our problem because we all believe in God. So, but go
I
ahead,
guess, yeah.
word.
All right, I'll start this in 3, 2, 1. 20 minutes starting now.
Word, you said it was easy. You want to address them?
Oh yeah, well, evil existing and God being all good is not like mutually exclusive. It's not like one thing have to predicate upon the other, right? Evil is just, it comes from free will. It's a byproduct of people having free will. So God is all knowing, he's all loving, but he's not gonna handcuff you to do certain things. So when humans enact upon our free will, we have the freedom to choose whether to follow God's laws or don't follow God's laws. And everything that's against what God had outlined and outlaid for us to be good, we can choose not to enact upon them. We do counter to what God have said. So that's just evil. Anything that's not of God is evil. It's of the devil. Because God only wants the goodness for everyone, right? So if you choose with your free will to not do those things, it's inherently evil.
Okay, I see several problems with that. And I just want to ask you a few questions to test your consistency. Do you believe there is evil in heaven?
Evil in heaven?
Yeah, does evil exist in heaven?
No, of course not. God can't exist around evil.
Okay.
That's why the devil got kicked out
Sure.
from heaven.
Does free will exist in heaven?
Sure does.
Okay, then that would negate the proposition you made.
No, it wouldn't.
It would. You just admitted
No.
free will exists in heaven and evil does not exist in heaven, and therefore there is no issue with God creating a universe with human beings where evil does not exist and free will exists. So
No. Hold on. Because free will, did you get what I said? Free will is that we can choose not to do what God wants.
well,
right?
you just
We
said
still have that. Hold on.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
What I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. If we're in heaven, then we know for sure, for certain, that there is a God, and we lavish in all of the comfortabilities, on all of the things that encapsulate heaven. So we know what it feels to be with God in heaven. So we wouldn't want to mess that up because it's the most beautiful thing that we ever encountered as humans,
Okay, sorry.
as angels.
Sorry, this is still a contradiction. You said the reason evil exists is because of free will. You told me there is some realm or place in which free will exists, but no evil exists. So if
Hey, Ward, can I help him out with this? Can I say something on this real quick?
I
could
mean,
you just
yeah,
let me finish what I had to
let
say?
him finish. Let him finish real quick, and then I'll say something, and you can go, Sadie.
I'll be the last person to speak after everyone.
Yeah, so your initial proposition was that evil is the result of free will. God gave us free will. So the problem is, if there was an all-good God, he would have an interest in evil not existing. Now, you told me there is a place, wherever it is, heaven, where free will exists and evil does not exist. And if your God is all-powerful, he would be able to make all places, all realms, all areas free of evil while enabling free will. So, sorry, I don't know if I misspoke. He would be able to make everywhere, earth, heaven, anywhere, free of evil while enabling free will. So if you're going to tell me evil exists because of free will, you just contradicted yourself because you admitted free will can't exist without the existence of evil.
Well, you thinking it's a necessity. It necessitates free will necessitates evil.
I never said
You
that.
still have a choice. You still have a choice to act upon that evilness.
So evil could exist in heaven.
What did I just tell you?
Well, then that's
That the
another
devil-
contradiction.
That the devil was trying to, because pride is evil. He was taken upon pride, right? And that got him kicked out of heaven.
So you can get kicked out of heaven?
That's what the devil, yeah. As an
So
angel,
any
yeah.
person in heaven can get kicked out of heaven?
An angelic being as the devil that was there
That's not what
from
I'm
the
asking. I'm
start.
just asking, can any one person get kicked out of heaven?
Once you're in heaven, and if you can't enact upon that. Well, you can enact upon your free will, but us being in the
I'm asking you a simple question. Can any one person get kicked out of heaven? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, then that's clearly a contradiction. If you believe free will can't exist in heaven without the presence of evil, and you believe there's an all-powerful, all-good God, that would make it impossible for evil to exist on earth because God would have the power to eliminate evil while enabling free will.
Do you know what gets us to heaven as a Christian?
Asking for mercy or forgiveness or whatever?
Well, no. We took upon the free gift of Christ. And when
I'm sorry, but that has nothing to do with
yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Topic.
Listen to what I'm saying. I said 3 words and you're saying no.
Look, you're just not acknowledging the contradiction. It's a clear contradiction.
I'm acknowledging what you just said.
Okay, go on if you believe you have an explanation.
Once we once we rise back in our incorruptible bodies and we're in heaven, then we are not of sin anymore, right? So we took on Christ's incorruptible nature. So we don't long and want for earthly things. You understand what I'm saying? So we wouldn't
This does not resolve the contradiction.
We wouldn't have the need or the urge to commit these sinful things.
Again, this does not resolve the contradiction. I'm sorry, that just isn't an argument. It does not resolve the contradiction.
Just because you're saying it doesn't resolve the contradiction doesn't make it true.
How? Okay, sorry. Again, just to spell things out, if God is all good and he's all powerful, he would have an interest in ensuring there is nothing but good. You claimed the reason there is evil is because of free will. You just admitted God is able to create circumstances in which free will exists and evil does not exist. Therefore, if evil exists anywhere, that would mean God is either not all good or not all powerful. So you are admitting to a contradiction, and what you just said had nothing to do with those propositions, and it does not resolve the contradiction.
Yes, I did, because I said just because we have free will doesn't necessitate that it's evil. I answered that directly. Just because we have free will,
that has nothing to do with the topic. You didn't resolve the contradiction.
You're equating free will with evilness. No, I said we have a choice. We have a listen what I'm saying. On earth, we have a choice that the byproduct is free will, is evilness.
You admitted free will exists in heaven. So if evil does not exist in heaven and free will exists in heaven, there is no reason for evil to exist on earth. If assuming there is an all good, all powerful God.
How do you equate that? You just making a false
based on your own reasoning. You admitted free will can exist without the presence of evil. You admitted evil cannot be committed in heaven. You admitted that people can't commit evil in heaven. They can't get cast out of heaven. And you admitted there is free will. So if free will if evil exists anywhere, assuming God is all good and all powerful, that would be a contradiction. You did not resolve the contradiction. If he's just going to make the same argument, could I just debate somebody else like GodLogic or something, somebody who has a different argument?
Could I chime in for a second if you guys don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah. Do you mind if I call you vegan, or do you like have a certain preference, or you don't care?
That's fine.
Yeah, I was going to say vegan. Your initial, you can say statement was that, could you restate it just to be precise? Because I don't want to straw man your view. So.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the problem of evil. It essentially postulates, it was a philosophical argument created by Epicurus, but it essentially postulates that if there is an all-good, all-powerful God, there could not exist any evil because no all-good God would allow evil to exist.
All right, so the first area where I want to begin with that is, how do you define evil, or how do you define good? What are those? I don't
need to define evil. We could call this an internal critique. I might have my own sense of evil. You might have your own sense of evil. That might be derived from the Bible. My sense of evil may be derived from other sources, but you could consider this an internal critique.
Do you consider that the same for good as well?
Yeah. Again, you could consider this an internal critique.
I think the definitions really do hinge, though. That's why I kept asking you what evil meant.
Well, do you?
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be just a simple internal critique only, I don't think that would be fair. I do think that we should be able to critique your position as well too. Like, for example, right, if you're gonna dissect what we believe in regards to evil and what will take place in heaven and on earth, I do believe that you should also be able to substantiate your position on what even evil is, because if you don't do that, then the whole conversation is kind of null and void, because you don't really have a position on anything that you're trying to refute.
Sorry, so I think we fundamentally agree on a lot of moral values. Like, we would agree that the Holocaust was wrong. We would agree that murdering people is wrong, stealing is wrong. And there's things that rise to the level of...
Where do you get your establishment that that's wrong, though?
I don't need to.
What do you mean you don't need to?
I'm sorry, but this is going to turn into a debate on moral realism. I'm not interested in debating moral realism.
Wait a minute.
You're making claims that are grounded in morality, yet you fail to substantiate a source for it.
Exactly. You have to substantiate that first in order to get an establishment, which is the reason why you don't understand what the word and I was actually telling to you. So the problem is this: when we flip sort of the line of questioning on you to kind of get a better understanding of where you understand evil is coming from, now you've said that I don't have to explain that. Well, then if you don't have to explain it, then I don't really think that there's anything to explain to you, because everything that we explain to you could ultimately be thrown out after the end of the debate. So we need to have each come to this platform with the standard grounds and beliefs and where we get that from in order to have a consistent argument, because anything that can be talked to you or said to you would literally legitimately just be thrown out at the end of the conversation. Okay, well then tell us. Tell us why do you believe that? Well then tell us why do you believe that the H-cost was wrong?
Why the Holocaust was wrong?
Yeah, you kind of like, we say H cause because we don't want to get censored.
Okay.
But
we don't want to do that on YouTube.
No issues. We just don't want to get censored.
Sure, if that's a problem for you, then sure. Look, I'm pretty sure in your own Christian Bible, it's stated that God has given us moral agency and wisdom to make moral choices.
Do you believe God gave you moral? You believe God gave you that?
I'm agnostic to it. It's possible that's why I have a moral, a moral.
But we're not arguing possibilities, though. We're arguing truth. This is the reason why when you come to us, we have a standard belief system. So, can you give me a standard belief system on why you believe that the H-cost is wrong? I don't want possibility, because then that means that it can change, right?
Okay, well,
tomorrow you can say, well, it was right? Because somebody can change your mind. So please don't argue possibilities. Please argue a standard grounded belief.
What do you mean by grounded?
Grounded means that it's standard, it's staple.
The justification, basically, for why you believe things are wrong and right.
Well, let me ask you this.
The source or justification.
Okay, let me ask you this. Does God think the Holocaust is wrong?
This isn't about what God thinks. I think you know what God thinks.
But I'm just wondering,
if you believe He exists,
I'm just wondering.
It's about what you.
Well,
it's about what you believe.
This leads to my point.
And how do you know that your belief system is standard and true?
This leads to the point that I'm trying to make. Does God believe the Holocaust is wrong?
Of course, God believes the Holocaust is wrong.
Okay, so what is his stable moral grounding for that claim?
Because he's God, he's the creator of the universe, and he creates the rules. This is the reason why we follow a God, and we can have a standard belief system on what is right and wrong.
So God has
because we have a standard moral system coming. Yeah, we have a standard moral system coming from an all-powerful. Hold on. Because we have a standard moral compass that we can staple and say, this is the reason
but God
why.
Doesn't have that.
This is the reason why that this is. God actually does have that.
This
is the reason why you pointed to the Bible. This is the reason why you pointed to the Bible, trying to tell us how we have a moral standard in believing the H-cost was wrong. So now all of a sudden we don't have that.
You're dodging.
Now all of a sudden we don't have it.
You're
dodging. If you don't mind, I think I'll chime in.
Wait. Oh. He was asking me a question. So dodging, you demanded that I give some sort of stable moral reasoning for why the Holocaust is wrong.
I did. The creator of the universe, the owner of the whole world,
for why the Holocaust is wrong.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What is God? I don't need to dissect.
I don't need to.
I think I can.
So you can justify your own God's moral beliefs. I don't need to
dissect what is God's moral reasoning for that. The creator of the universe has rules that are grounded for his creation to follow. This is the reason why we follow these rules. Now, whether we want to believe that some of these things are immoral and moral or not, this is up to you, the human, to justify that within yourself. But we as humans can have a cognitive understanding as to why we follow what we follow is moral, which is the reason why we argue with guys like Sadie and people that have other belief systems to show you that our God and our God's morality stands strong over all of your others. Now, the reason being for everything, we don't know every single thing about God, so we can't.
I think I got a better answer.
I'm not asking
we can't ask God and say, hey, why did you make all of these rules? Why did you give us the 10 Commandments?
So you can't give any moral reasoning for why God would think a certain thing.
Well, yeah, I can. I can give you this, but what I'm saying is this: once I give it to you, you're probably just going to ask another question. So let me give you the reasoning why. Let me give you the reasoning why God said mass murder in the way of the H-cost is wrong, is because unjustly unaliving someone, taking someone's life, is just begging. Clearly.
That's
exactly.
Begging.
No, it's not. It's not special pleading.
That's question begging.
No, it's not question begging.
You're question begging. You are making a proposition that assumes the truthfulness of the conclusion.
No. It's not question. No. It's not question begging, because you know why? We actually have a standard that we can actually take this system and bring it back to. You don't. You don't.
No basis. So your own God apparently has no stable basis to make any moral claims. Wait. When I asked you to provide a stable basis,
do you agree that the owner? Do you agree that the owner? Wait. Do you agree that the owner of the universe can create rules and standards for his creation?
He can do that, but whether or not that's moral or not is a separate question.
No. If he tells you that it's moral, what reason do you have to question his morality?
If God told you, spoke to you directly and said raping children is immoral, do you have any ability to question his moral decisions?
Now that's a good question. Now watch this. If God was to tell you that, would that be a true God?
Well, that's exactly the problem we're kind of talking about with the problem.
No, that's actually not the problem. That's actually not the problem. See, because I can distinguish between the two, and I actually have a standard which grounds me in what I believe.
So, by the way, this is another
show you why
contradiction.
that's not true.
This is another contradiction.
I'm not.
So you literally said moral values come from God without any basis.
It's not another. It's not another contradiction. No.
And then when I told you,
it's not another contradiction.
It's
not another contradiction.
Life, if you don't mind, can I I was gonna ask you something.
Hold on, wait. Give me a second. It's not another contradiction because what it is that you fail to realize is that I'm asking you for a solid position on where do you get your groundings from. I am getting what I am grounded in from the owner of the universe. You are not getting your moral belief from anywhere.
Here's the problem.
Where are you getting it from?
This question is designed to obfuscate, and we're going to end up getting into a discussion about moral realism rather than the problem of evil. I'm not interested.
Wait a minute, though, Vegan. I think I just answered your question to the best of my abilities because the problem is that I told you that I have a standard, and I'm taking my responses to you back to the standard without trying to be the standard.
You don't have a standard. You have no standard. You have no standard.
I do have a standard. The creator of the universe. What don't you understand? Hold on, everybody, please stop unmuting and let me talk to him. What don't you understand? That my standard is the owner of the universe. The creator of the universe. Again, if I believe that the creator of the universe would bring in moral laws that are good, and we can see that they are good from his standard, right? Then we know that we are following. Then we know that we are following a moral being based on the substance and the things that we get from this being. Now, I'm asking you, where do you get yours from? You continuously keep trying to critique where I'm coming from in my
I'll
position.
answer that.
But the problem is you don't have one though, Vegan.
Okay,
that's
look,
the point.
just out
you
of
don't have a standard.
So just out of respect, I will answer that. But first, I just want to point out something. First, you said God creates the standards, and there's no way to question God. And you made no argument for why any of God's moral propositions are based upon anything. You just said, well, it's God. Then when I asked you if God said raping children was okay, you would deny that moral proposition directly from God because you're using your own intuition, your own feelings and preferences to go against God. So you don't really care what God says. The only thing you care about is whether or not God is
I've been waiting. Sadie, please, I've been waiting to discuss with Vegan. So
I've already.
I haven't answered the question.
I've already addressed that. So now, Vegan, where's your standard? What is your standard?
It's based on my own preferences.
How do you know that the H cost was wrong? How do you know that was wrong?
Well, I'm not a moral realist, so there's no objective basis to prove the truthfulness of any moral claim. It's no objective morality.
So you have no basis to condemn H cost as immoral.
Caleb.
Well, it's my own set of preferences, and you have no objective basis. You have no objective basis to condemn the Holocaust.
Vegan, just answer the question. Vegan, just answer the question. So do you have is there objective morality?
No.
Okay, so you have no right to go to another state where people are unaliving babies for fun, right? And say you guys are doing wrong. You have no you have no reason to say that, huh?
Well, there's no objective
you wouldn't have any problem with them saying, "Man, get out of here. We're doing this for fun." So what? Who cares what you think?
What is the objective basis for which you could say that?
Answer the question. Would you have a problem with somebody doing that in another state for fun?
What, murdering babies?
Yeah, for fun. This is something that they do for fun. Why would you have a problem with that?
Because it goes against my preferences.
It goes against your preferences. What about theirs?
I don't care about their preferences because they're causing so much harm.
Okay. Now, what if they don't care about yours?
Well, again, that's why wars are fought. That's why the Civil War was fought. There were people who thought slavery was okay, and there were people who didn't think slavery was okay. And luckily, the people who didn't think slavery were successful.
Thank you. So nothing. Okay, thank you. So nothing matters. especially what you just said. Nothing matters.
I am an existential nihilist.
It's just all about what everybody else thinks, right? If a mass group of people believe that it's okay to do this, and I have nothing to do with it, and I can't control it, well then it's nothing then, right? I can only say I feel like that's wrong. I can't really like actually claim that what they're doing is wrong.
What objective basis do you have to
like
claim?
it's wrong.
What objective basis do you have to claim that?
I've already gave you that answer. I've already gave you that answer.
You
don't
didn't.
Like
you just said God. You just said God.
I've already given you that answer.
So.
You don't like it. The problem
do you know
is
what
that you have
means? Do you know what objective means?
Yes, and
objective
I believe
means
that my
independent
objective
of
standard,
any mind. So
and I believe that my objective standard comes
so you
from
don't
the
even know.
owner
You
of
just
the
believe.
universe who creates what it is that is good, and he wants his.
That's not an argument for an objective moral standard.
Wait a minute. So are you saying that you have the ability to believe what's good and what's bad, but God doesn't?
I'm not saying that.
Okay. So God knows what's good and what's bad, right?
Okay, I think we're getting a little too heated. And
wait.
Look,
vegan. So God knows what's good and what's bad, right? Just like you, right? You have the ability to know what's good and what's bad, but God doesn't.
Well, anybody with moral agency can have a set of preferences when it comes to moral standards. I'm not saying God couldn't.
Does God know what's good and what's bad? Does the creator of the universe know what's good and what's bad?
Well, I don't know if he is allowing holocausts, genocides.
Go ahead, Caleb. It's over. You lost.
I lose. By the way, we changed the topic. We were.
You can't even tell me if God knows what's good or bad.
We were talking about the problem of evil, and you completely changed the topic because you had no argument.
God knows what's good or bad. Okay.
And you still haven't made an argument about moral realism.
You don't want anybody to question what you believe is good or bad, but you're going to question what God says
I wasn't
is good or bad.
arguing about what is good or bad. I was arguing about the problem of evil. You completely changed the topic. I was trying to avoid that, and then we ended up arguing about moral realism.
With good and evil. The problem of evil has to do with good and evil, aka good
we
and bad.
Accept evil
exists.
It doesn't matter where our moral beliefs come from. If we all accept
it does matter where our moral beliefs come from.
Not with the topic of the problem of evil.
Your moral beliefs aren't coming from anywhere but yourself, which means
according to you, they're coming from God.
Which means that anyone else,
according to your religious beliefs, they're coming from God. Whether I believe that or not is irrelevant.
God is the creator in the universe. God is the creator of the entire universe. He is the reason why you exist.
Look, if you believe moral beliefs come from God, then it doesn't matter whether I believe moral beliefs come from God or not. They would be coming from God. So this is a pointless discussion. Why are we talking about this when I initially wanted to debate the problem of evil?
Okay, and you don't know what evil is. That's the point. You don't know what evil is. I just told you what it was.
No, you don't.
Our God actually tells us what it is. And then we have the ability to use that.
No, you don't.
We have the ability to use that and utilize that in our daily lives.
No, you don't. And this directly relates to the problem of evil. The only reason you agree with any of God's moral propositions is because you're assuming.
I love how I answered your questions, but you keep running away from mine.
I'm not running away from any questions.
All right, vegan, do you have the ability to know what's wrong or right?
Against you.
Vegan, do you have the ability to know what's wrong or right? Vegan.
Again, I have my own moral preferences. I don't know exactly what you mean by that question.
It's just a yes or no question.
I don't know what you mean by the question. What do you mean? So
you don't know what wrong or right is? So why are you arguing the problem of evil?
I don't know what you mean by that. Can you explain? I don't know what that question means.
Do you have the ability? You just wait a minute.
I have moral agency.
Wait a minute.
I'm a moral agent.
You just said the H cost was wrong. How did you? Wait. So what definition of wrong are you using?
Okay, let's just take a step back for a second.
Yeah, please, because I'm confused now. What definition of wrong and bad were you using when you said the H cost was wrong?
Let me try to resolve some of this confusion, if you just give me a moment. So,
yeah, because I'm a little lost, man.
So
now you said you don't know what wrong or right means, but you just said the H cost was wrong. So what definition of wrong were you using?
Allow me to just explain and not interrupt, please. I would like the discussion to stay respectful. I don't really want to have a shouting match or have people talking over each other. So
but I asked you a series of yes or no questions and you ran from them.
Well,
I answered your questions directly to the best of my abilities.
Sorry, I don't want to have a meta argument. Can we just have a civil discussion, please? So I just want to
Stop
resolve.
gaslighting and asking
This is how I debate, bro. You
Can
came up here.
I? Okay, well, this isn't really a debate.
That's
This is you
honestly
just
why I
talking
passed you
over
off to somebody
people.
else. Because
Sorry, but you're not really a good debater. You talk over people. You change.
You
the
haven't answered my
subject,
questions, but you're
ask
saying I'm not a good
irrelevant
debater?
questions.
You're running from my questions, but you're saying I'm not a good
You're
debater?
running from my debate
Do you
proposition.
have the ability
this
to-
has
do you have
nothing
the-
to do with
do
my
you-
debate proposition.
I answered your proposition. Do
No,
you
you
have the
didn't.
ability to know what's wrong or right?
Yes, I'm a moral agent. I still don't know exactly what you mean by that
So
question.
does God
but
have the
yes,
ability to know what's wrong and right?
I suppose, since he's a moral agent.
Okay, thank
maybe?
you. So when he gives us what we need to know for what's wrong and what's right, what's the problem?
Okay, the problem is you're assuming any moral proposition created by God is correct because you agree with the
bad,
proposition. The reason the problem of evil is
The
important.
creator of the universe who knows everything.
You're interrupting
who
again.
Knows
You're
the
interrupting
creator
again.
of the
You're
universe
interrupting
who
again. I was
knows
just talking.
everything.
I was just explaining something. And then
Vegan,
you just
can you check the
interrupted.
chat? I kind of sent a message to you, but
It's all good, man. Go ahead, bro. Y'all do your thing, man. He can't really answer none of my questions.
already. So the one thing is, Vegan, it seems like your main, I can say, question, feel free to like correct me again because I don't want to straw man interview, but you're trying to say like, okay, because someone obviously who believes morality comes from God. You're saying like, if God says X and Y what's the justification for that? Is that sort of what you're saying, or feel free to like clarify?
Well, the point I was trying to make was that, so you're claiming moral propositions from God are objectively true. You haven't actually
Correct.
made an argument for that. The problem here is you're assuming all of these moral propositions are true because you agree with them. If God talked to you directly and you disagreed with the moral proposition, like when I asked if God told you child rape is okay, you would disagree because you would assume that's not a God. Well, this directly relates to the problem of evil. If evil exists and we're assuming there's an all-good, all-powerful God, that would mean evil would be logically impossible. And if you can't show some defeating factor for that contradiction, I don't know why you would assume the God you're listening to or the God you believe in is a morally good God. These propositions could be wrong, but you agree with them you believe in them because you agree with them. So I want to resolve the problem of evil, and so far, no one has given me an explanation for why the problem of evil doesn't result in a contradiction.
Okay, so one thing to begin with is it's not that I agree with them. It's ultimately I believe that God, being that morality coming from God, is that ultimately like he's, how do I say this? It's not that I agree with them. It's that I believe that they are true because of the source that they come from, if that makes sense. And like when your question of like, essentially, yeah, like what's the justification or reasoning for God? Do you believe that nature can, and I'll explain what I mean by this, can determine right and wrong?
Well, what do you like? Nature doesn't have a
Yeah,
mind.
I can elaborate if needed. Do you need me to elaborate?
Yeah, please explain.
Alrighty, so I just kind of wanted to use an analogy. I thought it was a bit analogous. I'll use like, I don't know, like a sport, for example, like basketball. So there was a man named James Naismith, and he is accredited, or he is thought to be the original, you can say, founder or the inventor of the sport, being that like all the rules and like the structure of it he came up with. So ultimately, being that like the sport, the rules and yeah, you can say the terms and conditions come from him, his nature, it being that he's the originator, would ultimately decide the correct and false. I'm saying like nature, when I say nature, is like who you are, if that makes sense, can determine like your view or your, what's the better way to phrase this, your position of authority. Basically, you have the ability to make certain decisions because of your position, if that kind of makes sense.
Okay, I don't know what that has to do with the problem of evil.
It does, because when you asked why is it that like X is right because if God says so, I'm saying, of course, ultimately it's because of who he is.
So you're saying if God wanted an H-cost would be good, an H-cost would be good? So any moral proposition God makes is
ultimately, yes, I believe morality comes from him.
So if God believed there are no such things as true moral propositions that would make anything okay?
I wouldn't necessarily say that that's possible.
Okay, this is so far this would be the only thing that would resolve the problem of evil. Evil just doesn't exist. So anything is good. So HCOS are good, child abuse is good. That would be the only thing. So is that a logical explanation for why evil exists? God just permits it all?
Well, no, I know it kind of does circle back to how do you define evil, but for the sake, I'll just simply define it as like
the absence of good. It doesn't cycle back to how you define evil.
Can I go next?
You're ultimately just asking why is what God says true. That's basically what you're asking.
All of you keep changing the topic to moral realism. We're not talking about moral realism. We're talking about if we acknowledge that evil exists, how could evil exist in a universe where there is an all-good, all-powerful God?
But again, what I may identify as evil and you may be different, though.
Sorry?
But again, like that's why I keep saying what I or what you may label or call evil may be different.
So HCOS are good. Child abuse is good. That's the only way.
I personally do not believe it's good. No.
Sadie, how do
just
they
one last
exist?
point, Sadie, please. I would say that they're wrong. And of course, my justification for it would be, of course, because it goes against what God would say. And you earlier in the conversation stated because it goes against your moral preferences, if I'm not mistaken.
So you just contradicted yourself.
How in the world did I contradict myself?
You said, so you literally made a proposition and its negation. I asked you, how would an all-good, all-powerful God allow HCOS? You said, well, God might think they're good, and then you said they're not.
I didn't. I never ever said that I
vegan. Is there any standard in this world that anyone should be grounded in, or is it everyone should just believe what they want to believe based on how they feel?
Again, there are no I don't believe in any objectively true moral propositions. If you want to convince me of that, you would have to make an argument for it. So
the answer to my question is no. There's no objective standard that anybody should be grounded in.
That's a separate question.
It's up to what everybody believes, right? So if
I can have my own personal opinion on that.
Well, I know, but everybody has their own personal opinion when it comes down to morality, according to you, right? That's what you believe. It's up to whoever. It's up to however you feel.
Morality, right? Yeah. So morality and how we develop moral systems.
We don't believe that, and the fact that you're coming in this conversation.
Well, whether I don't care if you believe it. I care if you can make an argument for your claim.
Brother vegan. We definitely could do this again. To be honest, I've done this before. I love it, but I'm saying this. I definitely want to get back to Sadie really quick because I do 3 hours.
Life, can I talk to him real quick?
I will say this. But I will say this. Your position, vegan, is very it's too open. It allows the substance of evil to seep in to whoever it is that you deal with and whoever it is that you talk to. That
has nothing to do with the problem of evil.
You don't have. Yeah,
you can't even define evil. What do you mean? Like
that has nothing to do with the problem of evil.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna just say this and then I'm gonna send them off. Please stop jumping in because it's gonna keep going back and forth. I'm saying this. You don't have anything. You know the term. If you don't stand for anything, you don't stand for something. You'll fall for anything.
Oh, I stand for things. It's just that I admit I don't have any objective basis.
But this is the boat that you're in because someone could convince you that the H cost is okay because you don't have you're not really fully standard.
Guess what?
In why
there's a religion called Islam that allows for tribal genocide. So
you just feel like
the belief in God, the belief in God does.
Hey, life is not vegan. Can I answer you real quick?
Sure.
Hold on. So wait. No, Sadie, we're about to jump back to what we were dealing with. I gave him 30 minutes.
I just need a minute.
I gave him about 30.
I just need a minute to say what I wanted to say.
It's not going to take a minute because he's going to have to respond.
Yeah, Life. Word is in the chat, by the way. He's saying he's here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, vegan, we definitely can do this again. We can. I'll pull up an atheist stream and we can go at it all day. But the problem is that you're gonna have to address, bro.
No, I'm not.
where you get okay,
No,
well,
I'm
you don't
not.
want to have okay, well, then you don't want to have a real discussion.
If I
You
have
just
to,
want to have
then
the
you
eternal
have to,
debate.
and you haven't been able to.
We've done it this whole time.
No.
We believe God is the standard of morality.
You literally
That's why we go to
contradicted
our
that
God.
claim by
we tell you
admitting if
our
God
God is the
said child
truth.
rape was okay,
Our
you would not
standard
agree
of-
with God.
Then it wouldn't be God. He wouldn't be
How
God
do
if
you
he said-
know? How do you know?
Because it goes against what he has told us, and we don't believe he contradicts himself.
Because the standard of morality comes from the good God that we serve. That's why the owner and the creator of the universe has already dissected and gave us the rulings on what is wrong and what is right. The standard comes
He has
from
no basis,
him.
so there's no objective basis for him to make any of those moral claims. That's the issue. So God can say things, but there's no objective basis for him to make the claim.
Okay, so there's no objective basis for you to make the claim then.
If you're claiming,
so you believe God is just like you. You believe the creator of the universe,
yes,
the one who
if
knows
a God
everything.
exists, he has no objective basis to make any moral propositions.
So the creator of the universe
true, then make an argument.
So the creator, wait 1 second. So the creator of the universe, the one who
make
knows
an argument.
Everything, the one who knows everything, the one who knows the future,
Questions
the one who knows what's wrong and what's right, is just like you. You're saying the creator of the universe is just like you.
Make an argument.
Wait a minute.
I already answered that question.
In his thought process of what is wrong and what's right, you're saying the creator of the universe is just like you in that thought.
I already answered that, yes. And if you disagree, then make an argument. Questions are not propositions.
I've already given you the argument.
No, you haven't. Oh, because God is so big.
Do you know everything? Do you know everything? Do you know
everything?
Do you know all things?
Do you know all things?
Wait. You're placing yourself in the position to be the same as God in this moral thinking, right? So do you know everything? Do you know the entire population of humans and what they will do
God has
from
made
now
objectively
all
true
the way
moral
into the
statements, then make an argument for it. Stop dodging. You're dodging. You won't answer the question.
I'm asking you a question.
You won't answer the question. Yeah, I have to answer an endless series of questions for 10 minutes straight. You can't answer that question.
I'm trying to establish why God's morality.
Dodge. I guess you're scared. He can't answer the question.
I'm dodging when I'm trying to answer your question. That's the problem. You don't want to answer the question.
Questions are not propositions. You literally just.
I'm not making a proposition. I'm answering it by proving to you that you are not God.
Questions are not
will never be in the
propositions.
position of God because you do not have
Questions
the abilities,
are
the capabilities
not
of what God
propositions.
has. This is the reason why He is the moral
If you
standard.
believe God
He
can
knows
create
what is right
objective
and
moral
what is wrong
truths, then
for
make
us
an argument
humans.
for that.
All right.
I think his problem.
Oh,
he
so
doesn't
I have to
believe
answer all
in
your
that.
questions, but you get to run away because you're scared. Okay.
The problem is
you just like one of the people that we talked to, what they call the Muslims, the Muslims.
The problem he has is he doesn't believe in the afterlife.
He doesn't believe in a God. He doesn't believe in a God, period. So he doesn't understand how when we say God's moral standard comes from him because he is the standard. What he thinks
Weird, just like my moral standards come from me.
He thinks we're saying Tom from across the street is the standard. When we address God, we address the creator of the universe, the one who's omnipotent.
Okay, GodLogic is literally a fucking retard. He cannot follow the argument at all. He dodges, obfuscates, changes the topic completely for no fucking reason. And then when I ask him if he's claiming God created an objective moral standard, then make an argument for that, he just ends up asking me an endless series of questions. And so he can't even make any fucking propositions in favor of his claim. GodLogic is actually fucking mentally retarded, dude. Like, that is one of the dumbest theists I have ever fucking debated. That guy is literally fucking brain dead.